Alright, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to another bit of footy YouTube channel video. That was probably the worst intro I've done, but we're going with it anyway. We just got out of the shower, so excuse the hair. But yeah, we're back for another tipping video this week. Round 3 already, Jesus Christ, it seems like we're flying through some rounds early on here. But I want to go to my tipping competition on ESPN to have a look at some of the leaders, because I feel like they need a bit of respect because we're in round 3 already and they're doing alright. So in number 1 place we have Rory Patterson with 14 14 points. Yep. Cardman 22 coming in second with also 14 points, and in third place we have ESPN Fan 5418. You get the gist. I think you figure it out. So the top 3 are on 14 points, and then we got a few 13s, 12s. I myself am on 11, like Ryder Henchy as well, and UCAT. So there's a few there's a few 13s, 14s, 12s, and 11. I mean, literally the guy on the bottom of the leaderboard is on 10. So, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. We're only 3 rounds in, like I said before, so it's pretty even competition at the moment. Anything could happen during the season, so who knows. But anyway, lads, it's time to go through our round 3 tips. Let's get it. Anyway, yeah, so we're kicking it off round 3 Thursday night between my Pies and the Lions. It's now being played at Marvel Stadium. Originally it was going to be played at the Gabba, and originally I was going to go with the Lions. They're still a pretty strong side, but I don't know, ever since it's been changed to Melbourne, I'm not too sure about it. This is sort of like a 50-50 game for me now. I was pretty certain about the Lions winning if it was going to be played at the Gabba, but now it's in Melbourne, and I've become conflicted with who to tip, but in the end I've went Collingwood to win by 14 points. But either way, if Brisbane win, I wouldn't be surprised about it. They are a very good side. They almost, we all know that they should have beat Geelong last week, free kick. But, it's going to be a real good game, this one. It's going to be a real good battle. Collingwood looked like they were, up and about last week. They were back to a good style of footy, whereas Brisbane, it took a bit for them to get back into the game. But when they did, they really fought, and like I said before, should have won the game, free kick. But yeah, I feel like Collingwood to get it by 14 points, but it should be an absolute ripper of a game to kick off the Easter weekend of footy. Then we move on to the Friday games. We actually have 2 Friday games because we start off with North Melbourne traditional Good Friday match. This year they're playing the Dogs, so it's good to see them go back to their original fixture on Good Friday. They're probably going to lose anyway, but whoop-de-doo. Yeah, so North Melbourne versus the Dogs at Marvel, and I've went the Dogs to win this one. Started off really well, beating the Pies, beating the Eagles. Last week just really showed how good the Dogs can be against a good side in the Eagles. So realistically, they should put North Melbourne to the sword in this game. And yeah, I've went the Dogs to beat the Roos in that one at Marvel. Then the second Good Friday match sees Adelaide take on Gold Coast at the Adelaide Oval, and this one is quite a tough one to tip. The Suns have been fighting. They still haven't found a win. No, they found a win last week against North Melbourne, obviously. But the Crows look like a better side this year. Obviously, they got smashed by the Swans, but the Swans are a good side in themselves. But to see the Crows put up the fight that they did in most quarters against the Swans, it really showed good signs for them. So that's why at home I've went the Crows to beat the Suns to get their second win of the season already. I know, it's round 3. Crows picking up their second win. It's crazy stuff, but I feel like it will happen. We move on to the Saturday games. We've only got 3 Saturday games this weekend. Kicking off with Richmond versus Sydney at the home of footy, the MCG. And obviously the Tigers love the G. Although the Swans have been pretty good as of late, but we all know how good the Tigers have been for multiple years now, so it's going to be pretty hard for the Swans to beat the Tigers. I feel like it'll be one of those games where the Swans come close, but then in the final quarter, the Tigers just absolutely go crazy and win by, I'll say like a 20-point margin. But yeah, I've went the Tigers to beat the Swans at the G. Then we move on to the Saturday twilight game. I actually should be going to this game. It is the Bombers versus the Saints. I should be going with Pat, Geordie, Sammy GFC will be there too, but we may not be sitting in the same area. So yeah, Cardman22 and Geordie Pluto, I'll be with them at the game. But yeah, the Saints, they looked a bit, worse for wear last week. I mean, they got within a few kicks here and there against the D's last week. Steele really put up a fight, really got the Saints back in it, and it is his 100th game coming up against the Dons this Saturday. So with all that in mind, I still feel like the Saints will get the job done. We know how many injuries that the Bombers have. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now Shield, Cordwell and all that, so it's going to be really tough for them to get the win against the Saints, who are a very good side. We know how good they are nowadays, so I went the Saints to beat the Dons at Marvel Stadium. Then we move on to a huge contest at Optus Stadium. This is going to be a ripper of a clash, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Eagles taking on the Power at Optus Stadium, and I've went the Power actually to beat the Eagles. It's going to be a huge clash, but they've just been looking really good as of late, the Power. And the Eagles, they had a slip up in round 2. They didn't look to their best. They didn't look to their best. So I'm going to tip the Power to beat the Eagles at Optus Stadium. They look like a good, fast side again, the Power. They look like a strong side. The Eagles, they lost to the Dogs. They just crumbled at the final stages, the Eagles, and you can't really be doing that when you're coming up against the Power. So it's going to be a really interesting contest. The Eagles, we know they're very good at home, but I've went the Power to beat the Eagles in this one. Should be a great game though. Then we move on to Sunday. Now we've only got the 2 Sunday games this weekend, kicking off with the Blues taking on the Dockers. Both teams are sort of coming up very injury prone all of a sudden, but I still went the Blues at Marvel Stadium. Look, they were alright in a few quarters against us last week, the Blues against the Pies. So I can just see them really controlling this game well, which they need to. They need to get a win on the board. So yeah, I've went the Blues to beat the Dockers. We know the Dockers, they've got a few injuries here and there. So it's going to be hard for them to beat the Blues, but they beat the Giants. They beat the Giants, and the Giants, they look very lackluster though. So this is another very interesting match. It's a 50-51 to call, but I've went the Blues because it's at home, most likely. But I've went the Blues to beat the Dockers. Then we move to Manuka Oval for the game between the Giants and the D's, and haven't the D's come up well so far, and that's why I've went the D's to beat the Giants at Manuka Oval. Should be a very interesting contest. The Giants, obviously, they need to get a win on the board. It's getting away from them a bit early here, the Giants. Whereas the D's, if they win this, they go 3-0 for the season. A great start for them. And that's why I've went the D's. They just looked really, really good against the Saints last week. Controlled the midfield. Controlled their defense controlled the Saints forward line. It was just great to see. It was sort of like the D's of 2018, if you put it that way. But yeah, I've went the D's in this one. Oliver, Petrarca, they just seem to be causing havoc in the midfield all of a sudden. Well, not all of a sudden, they did it last year. But you get the gist. So yeah, I've went the D's to beat the Giants in that one. And then that moves us on to the last game of the week between the Cats and the Hawks on the Monday, the Easter Monday. And I've went the Cats to beat the Hawks in this one. Still should be a very good contest. Normally is on Easter Monday. But yeah, I can just see the Cats getting over the line. They haven't been playing to their best. The Cats, they haven't been playing to their best. They only got the job done against the Lions by 1 point, and like I said previously in this video, they really shouldn't have won that game. But anyway, it's Gonna be a very, very good contest. I can't wait to watch it on Monday. I'll be streaming this game, but I've went the Cats to win this one. I feel like they just need to start rising up, and I feel like this game will certainly be one that will get the Cats up and about. So yeah, I've went Geelong to beat the Hawks in that one. And that concludes the tips for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and yeah, it should be a great week of footy coming up. Can't wait to see what it brings. I'll be going Thursday night, I'll be going Saturday evening, Sunday I won't be going. So there's a lot of sporting events that I'll be going to. I've got the footy, the soccer, and that's it pretty much. So yeah, I can't wait to get out and about. Maybe I'll see a few of you guys. Maybe you'll see me. I've got a few comments on my YouTube videos before that people have seen me at the games. So if you ever want to say hi, don't feel afraid to. I'm more than likely going to say hi back, you know, because I'm a nice bloke. You know, I'm a nice bloke and I like to talk to people. So yeah, anyway, lads, I will see you in another video soon. Actually, I'll see you on a matchday vlog on Friday. So yeah.